Welcome back to Night, narratives involving gore, horror, and truth. Tonight we're doing something a little different. These aren't just ghost stories or tales of the unexplained. These are real people's accounts of looking death in the eye and living to tell about it. They didn't run into spirits or demons. They ran into other people, flesh and blood, and those people wanted them gone. Tonight you'll hear 5 harrowing stories. A waitress who almost became the next victim of a serial killer, a woman who survived an abusive ex, a survivor of a mass shooting, a man nearly killed over road rage, and someone who tried to leave a biker gang. These stories are raw, disturbing. For the sake of privacy, I can't include their real names or even usernames. So turn off the lights, double check the locks, and listen closely. Story 1. He was always so polite, surviving a serial killer. I was 19, broke, and working the overnight shift at a roadside diner just off Interstate 80 in Nebraska, the kind of place that smelled like grease, bleach, and stale cigarette smoke. We had regulars, mostly truckers and night workers, but then there was him, middle-aged, average-looking, always in a gray windbreaker. He never told me his name, and I never asked. He tipped in exact change, always black coffee, no sugar, no cream. He never stayed long, never caused trouble. One night, around 3 a.m., he showed up when the place was dead quiet. My coworker was out back smoking. He sat at the counter and just watched me, didn't order, didn't speak, just stared. I pretended not to notice. After about 15 minutes of silence, he finally got up and left. I got off work around 4. When I stepped outside, his car was there, parked beside mine, engine idling, lights off, windows tinted. I stopped walking. My gut clenched. Then I noticed something. His passenger door was cracked open, just barely, like he was waiting. I turned back and ran inside, locked the door, and told my coworker I wasn't going home until sunrise. Next week, he didn't show up. 2 weeks later, his mugshot was on the news. Clarence Victor, arrested for a 3rd murder after being released on parole for 2 other murders that somehow were dropped to manslaughter. I worked that job for 6 more months. I never parked in the same spot again, and I never, ever ignored my gut after that night. Story 2. The closet wasn't empty. Abusive ex attempted murder. Jeremy and I dated for almost 4 years. At first, he was sweet, attentive, but after we moved in together, the cracks showed. He started tracking where I went, criticizing what I wore, controlling who I saw. The first time he hit me, he cried for hours afterward. The second time, he didn't. I left after he smashed my phone during an argument, stayed with my sister, changed my number. I thought I was safe. A few weeks later, I moved into a little apartment, 1st floor, nothing fancy. I didn't tell anyone where it was, not even friends. I was starting over. One night, I came home late from a shift. My porch light was out. Weird, but maybe the bulb blew. When I reached for the doorknob, it was sticky. I wiped my hand on my jeans. Something about it felt wrong, like it had been coated in something. I checked my phone flashlight. Vaseline. The knob was covered in it. My blood ran cold. I backed away, grabbed my keys, and went to my car. I called the police from a gas station down the road. When they searched my apartment, they found the window in my bedroom pried open, and Jeremy hiding in the hallway closet with a roll of duct tape, a hammer, and a plastic sheet. He had a key. He'd been watching me, waiting for me to come home. The Vaseline? That was to keep me from getting a grip on the knob if I tried to escape. They said he planned to make it look like I ran away. He's in prison now, 15 years. But I still check every closet in every new place I live. Story 3. The show that turned into a massacre, mass murder event. My friend was playing a small concert in a bar just outside Sacramento. It was a local punk scene, maybe 150 people tops, low ceilings, dim lights, cheap beer. I went to support him. It was supposed to be fun. Halfway through their set, the fire alarm went off. Everyone turned toward the exits, confused, until we heard the first shot. At first, nobody panicked. Then we heard the second shot. That's when people started screaming. I hit the floor and crawled behind a speaker stack. From where I lay, I could see flashes coming from the front entrance. Then I realized they were muzzle flashes. The shooter wasn't saying a word, just firing. I saw a girl get hit in the leg and fall. Someone tried to help her and got shot in the back. I don't remember running. I just remember being outside, behind the bar, hiding in a dumpster enclosure with 2 other people. We stayed there for what felt like an hour. 7 people died, 11 were injured. It barely made the local news because it wasn't big enough. The shooter was angry about some online drama, that's all. Story 4. A horn almost got me killed. Road rage attack. It was a Tuesday, late afternoon. I had just picked up dinner and was driving home, exhausted. I was maybe 2 blocks from my apartment when a lifted black pickup cut me off so hard I nearly hit a parked car. I laid on my horn. Nothing excessive, just enough to say, "Hey, watch it." The guy slammed his brakes hard. I barely stopped in time. He got out, holding something metal. It looked like a crowbar or wrench. I locked the doors. He stormed to my window, yelling, spit flying, then smashed the crowbar into my windshield. Cracks spidered out across the glass. I panicked, reversed into the intersection, drove up on a curb, and peeled off. He didn't follow. I thought I was safe. But when I got home, I saw it. My back tire was slashed. And sitting in my passenger seat was a box I had picked up that day from a package return. The label was still on it, with my full name and address. That night, I slept with a knife next to my bed. Luckily, I never saw the dude again. I'm sure his ego and dangerous temper landed him in jail or something. Story 5. You don't leave, you disappear. Escaping a biker gang. I was 22 when I started hanging around the club. They weren't officially a gang, but we all knew. Guns, drugs, debt collection. They called themselves the Iron Graves, all black leather and skull patches. At first, it was exciting. Loud bikes, free booze, parties that lasted until sunrise. Then came the errands, then the less legal errands. One night, a guy went missing. He'd been skimming money. No one said anything, but we all knew what happened. I wanted out, quietly. I told the president I was thinking about getting clean. He smiled, said, "That's cute." Then added, "Just remember, graves don't open once they're closed." That night, I didn't sleep. At dawn, I left everything. I took $300 in cash, ditched my phone, and caught a Greyhound out of state. 6 months later, I got a burner text from an old club friend. "They think you're dead. That's the only reason you're not." I've literally changed my name twice since. I work off the books doing welding. I'm posting this anonymously on Reddit so people can learn from my mistakes. You just heard 5 people's stories of survival, real, raw, and terrifying. And the scariest part, none of these people were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were living their lives until someone else decided that was no longer okay. This is the world we live in. A world where monsters don't wear masks, they wear jeans, hoodies, smiles. Thank you for listening tonight. Narratives involving gore, horror, and truth. If you made it this far, you're one of us now. Be safe, be smart, and never assume you're alone. Because sometimes, you're not. Please make sure to subscribe so you can enjoy more stories like this. And as always, be safe.